What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% NUFC. This is going to be a little bit of a sad video. It's not regarding Newcastle, but it's the problems in football, financial terms, ownership, and what is happening to the love of the game. What is happening to the so-called owners who come in and buy football clubs and want them to succeed. Now, I'm relating this to two Northwest football clubs in Bolton and Bury who are in very, very serious situations. These are two clubs in crisis, and I feel sorry for both of them. And I would never wish this on any club, even Sunderland rivals. I wouldn't wish any club to be extinct, to be kicked out of the Football League, and to not have a football club to support. And yes, I've slagged off Mike Ashley in the past, and I've said that, you know, he's this and he's that. You know, I don't particularly like the guy, but I'm very, very grateful from a Newcastle side of things that we've got an owner who, yes, he doesn't put much money into the football club, but we've got a club to support, and we're in the Premier League playing, you know, against some of the best teams in the world. But let's put it into perspective. You know, we've got a club like Bury who are 2 days away from being kicked out of the Football League because they've got an owner there who simply doesn't care about the welfare of the football club. This is a club who got promoted out of League 2 last season, and a club who, you know, they're only a small club. But what I like about these small clubs is it's not about, you know, the money. It's about getting behind the team, and it's about forming a community, and that's what they are down at Bury, a community football club. They're a club who, you know, want to get behind the team, a team who wants to, you know, succeed. I don't think I've seen a team get promoted from, you know, the division below, then not being able to fulfil their fixtures, not being able to keep their manager who got them promoted. They've lost all of their players, and you know, you've got fans outside of Gig Lane today, Wednesday night, as I'm speaking, you know, with coffins outside of the ground, and with a lady who apparently has handcuffed herself to the actual lamppost outside Gig Lane to protest that, you know, the EFL aren't doing anything about it. And I want to have a little dig at the EFL to say, you know, you big up your league as if to say, you know, go and watch Sky Sports. It's the best leagues in the world. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. If not, it's getting worse. You know, you're not really doing anything to save these football clubs. You're allowing crooked owners to go in to potentially ruin these football clubs and to see them not have a future. And it's a shame because these smaller clubs don't have a lot of power compared to, you know, these bigger clubs in the Premier League, and I can put myself in there as well. You know, the Premier League, there's a bit more power, there's a bit more money. In the EFL, you can't really say that for the clubs in that league, because especially when you hit League 1 and League 2, there's not much money in it. There's no broadcasting rights. You've got maybe a couple of games on Sky Sports, but that's about it. But, you know, I could also say the same for Bolton Wanderers. You know, they aren't days away from going to, you know, getting evicted, but look at Bolton. You know, they are an ex-Premier League football club who, you know, they've gone through hard times. You know, they were a mainstay in the Premier League. This is a club who, you know, had some very good players in the past. I'll know, you know, Kevin Nolan, who was obviously club captain at Newcastle, very well respected down at Bolton, a legend down there. Obviously, we had Sam Allardyce, who was the manager, you know, of Bolton Wanderers back in the day, when Bolton won the Premier League, and of course we had Sam Allardyce briefly as manager. And you know, to see them fall, you know, from, you know, the Premier League to the Championship to League 1, back to the Championship, then back to League 1, and to see them, you know, this season with, you know, no season tickets printed, they've got no kits, they've got no nothing, and you know, that they're playing players who they've got next to no experience. They've got no players from the first team, you know, perspective, and they've had to cancel a lot of games. They've had to cancel a lot of cup games, and they're getting fined by the EFL. Now, I don't think the EFL have a divine right to fine these clubs for not being able to field a team. That's not their fault. It should be the EFL who should be, you know, stepping in and doing something about it. You know, use are the guys who are down in Preston who have the money. Go and fucking support them. Go and help them out. You know, this is a Northwest club. You are close enough. Go and help them. You know, and the fact that you can't even, like, loan any players out of these football clubs is an absolute disgrace, because there's no doubt there's clubs in the Premier League, in the Championship, that would loan players out of Bolton and Bury, so they're going to have a football club to support, and that they don't go bust. But no, the EFL think, no, it's all about money, it's all about this, it's all about that, and it's an absolute, it's a shame, you know, what's happening to modern day football. And, you know, it's just not right at all, how a club like Bury and Bolton, you know, are being, you know, supported by the EFL. They're not doing anything in terms of supporting them. And you know, to say to a club like Bury, oh, we're going to kick you out, or if you don't do this and you don't do that. What can they do if the fans are powerless? If the owner of Bury doesn't sell up, and he's not going to sell it to the community who want to, put, the club first. And a club like Bury, should be run by the fans, and the owner who's there should be allowing the club to do that. And obviously he's not, because he's only thinking about himself. I know he had a little bit of a rant on TalkSport last Friday to his captain, or who was there previously, to say, you haven't been paying work. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because, you've seen clubs like Portsmouth who've been very close to going out of business. You've seen a club like Blackpool very, very close, to going out. Carl Eyston pretty much running the club dry. And, it's only going to happen more in football in the EFL if nothing is done about it. Now, I just hope and pray from a Newcastle side of things, from a fan, that Bury doesn't go, out of business, and that they do have a club to support by Friday. And if they do go out, I feel really sorry for them, because it's not nice to, start all over again. The same could be said for Bolton. Put rivalry, aside. At the end of the day, I hope they can sort the matters out, because it's not fair. And as I've said before, even as a Newcastle fan, I don't like Sunderland, but I wouldn't wish it upon them, because at the end of the day, every fan deserves to have a football club to support. So I just think a message from myself, not that the EFL would listen, but they need to do something about it. They need to step in and help these football clubs to survive, and they need to try and get more games broadcasted for these clubs. And yes, I know it's not the most attractive of football, League One, League Two, but at the end of the day, this is English football. We've got some of the best leagues in the world, and you see the Championship, how it's grown. You can see how the Premier League obviously has become the best league in the world. Something needs to be done. I think they need to share it out a little bit, between the Premier League, Championship, League One and League Two. They need to do something about it, because, a club like Gateshead, who are only across the road from us, they were very close to not being able to start the National League North season. They were a club who finished 9th in, the National League. They had a few problems with the owner. They lost the manager, they lost the players. They ended up finishing, I think it was 17th overall, because they got docked because of money situation. They then got relegated to the National League North, which wasn't their fault, it was default. And then, they were hours away from going, completely bust, but they eventually got bought out by a local guy who, believed in Gateshead Football Club. And, I respect him for that. But it's just a real shame, man, what's happening, outside of the Premier League, and that the EFL, they big this league up to say it's the best in the world. But for me, they're making the right tit of themselves at EFL, and they need to do something about it. Okay, so that's just my thoughts about it. I just hope that they can get the situation sorted. If you are new to the channel as well, any Bolton or Bury fans, if you want to comment down below, please feel free. Any Newcastle fans, Sunderland fans, any fans, if you just want to, let's talk, about this whole situation. And yeah, I'll catch us all later. Okay, subscribe.